Hey, what's going on guys, it's Cobra here with the 3 best builds for each of the new weapons in DLC 1 for Payday 3. Syntax error. I will show you the current best build for the FSA 12G automatic shotgun, the FIK 22 TLR and the War 45 SMG. And all of the gameplay is at the end of the video. We'll start with the SFA 12G automatic shotgun. So for the attachments, you wanna grab ranged barrel as your barrel since the damage range is really nice. Extended magazine is awesome since you're not gonna reload much. For the stock, I like HQ stock, but you can also run light frame stock if you want. Light is up to your personal preference, but my favorite is the classic RDS. For the barrel extension, take the 12G vent compensator, but if you don't have the 50C stacks for it, you can grab the 12G Jocho. For the grip, I like the basic, simple biofit grip, but again, if you prefer tag grip, you can grab it. But I feel like perforated grip is just bad, and lastly, for the vertical grip, take the stub grip, but you can also grab the quick hold grip. For your secondary, I use the J&M Castigo 44 for every one of these builds, since it's a great secondary, so let's go over the attachments for it. Barrel, tack barrel. I don't use it because my game is glitched and I can't unlock it. Sight is again up to your preference, but I like the Slate RDS. Grip, biofit grip, simply outclasses both other options. And finally the basic compact compensator is just better than both other options. The rest of the loadout aside from the skills will remain the same for the next 2 builds too. So let's start with the deployable. Grab armor bags, they're still good even after the nerfs. For the overkill weapon, obviously the Het 5 Red Fox. Armor lining, I use heavy ballistic lining, but I know some people prefer the medium ballistic lining. Now for the throwables and tools. They're both up to preference. I would recommend grenades or flashbangs for your throwables and anything goes for tools since they're all shit. And now for the important part, the skills. First, we need to grab the mower skill tree. So start with the mower basic to unlock the rest of the tree. Then grab the basic ammo funnel and replenish combo since it works so well with everything in this game. And also grab sprint loaded. Next, grab tank basic to again unlock the tree and take extra plates and armor up to buff your armor bags. Now this might be odd to some of you, but sharpshooter is necessary, so you can grab cutting shot, which is necessary on higher difficulties, even if it seems like a waste of point. And now for the shotgun tree. Grab enforcer basic, not aced, and you'll see why soon. Quick reload, face to face for extra damage, combat reload to constantly perma-refresh your edge and grit, and lastly shock and awe, since it's a great skill. For Gunslinger, probably the most important tree of this build, grab Gunslinger aced so you can keep chaining that edge, and grab from the hip to reduce recoil along with quick draw, cause it's a great skill and it's always useful. This is also why we only grab enforcer basic. You're gonna get your edge from Gunslinger, so there's no point to put a point there. Time for the last tree, transporter. Grab transporter basic, then deep pockets to buff your armor bags even further, and power lifter so you can carry 2 bags. Now I'll go over some skills that are interchangeable for you guys that don't like them. On this build there aren't many compared to the others, but here you can change sprint loaded for something else, power lifter and quick reload, since as I said earlier you're not gonna reload that much with this build. For the gameplay, skip to the timestamp on screen. And now we go from the best weapon to the worst weapon. The FIK 22 TLR Marksman rifle. This gun sucks, but this build will make the most of it. Let's go over the attachments. Barrel. You wanna grab ranged barrel since the range on this gun is absolutely abysmal. Extended mags. One of the only perks this gun has is the great ammo pickup rate, so that pairs really nicely. Compact compensator on your barrel extension since the other options are pretty damn bad, but if you prefer them, you can swap it. Grip, biofit grip. Again, the starter attachments are better than the final one somehow. Great job overkill. And I like the TQ stock, but if you prefer the HQ stock you can grab it instead. But I feel like it's a straight downgrade. For your vertical grip, grab the stub grip again, since it's great on every gun. And the quick hold grip is worse for this type of gun. And lastly, for your sight, grab your personally preferred sight. But my recommendation would be the tactical sight, since it doesn't look like complete shit and it also gives you the most zoom. In the last build I showed the rest of this build, the revolver and the rest of the loadout, so I'll paste the same part here for those of you who skipped to this part to see the build for this gun. So if you have already seen this, you can skip. For your secondary, I use the J&M Castigo 44 for every one of these builds, since it's a great secondary, so let's go over the attachments for it. Barrel, tack barrel. I don't use it because my game is glitched and I can't unlock it. Sight is again up to your preference, but I like the Slate RDS. Grip, biofit grip, simply outclasses both other options. And finally the basic compact compensator is just better than both other options. The rest of the loadout aside from the skills will remain the same for the next 2 builds too. So let's start with the deployable. Grab armor bags, they're still good even after the nerfs. For the overkill weapon, obviously the Het 5 Red Fox. Armor lining, I use heavy ballistic lining, but I know some people prefer the medium ballistic lining. Now for the throwables and tools. They're both up to preference. I would recommend grenades or flashbangs for your throwables, and anything goes for tools since they're all kit. And now that that's over, your skills for this build start with, again, mower. So grab mower basic and ammo funnel and replenish, since it's absolutely necessary for pretty much every build in this game, especially builds like this, and sprint loaded isn't bad either. Now grab tank basic to unlock the tree, and grab extra plates, armor up and disengage, since it can save your life and has saved mine in many occasions. Now for the important tree, sharpshooter. Grab sharpshooter ace so you can chain that edge with scoped headshots and take long shot, cutting edge and speed aim. All of these are really necessary for this build to work. Head down and grab Swift to be passively faster, and Escapist basic is always great to have in my opinion. I also grab Quick Draw because the extra swap speed is always nice to have if an enemy approaches up close. Now for the final tree, Transporter. Grab Transporter basic, deep pockets for your armor bags, power lifter to carry 2 bags, and catapult to toss them even further. The skills you can swap are Sprint Loaded, Swift, Escapist, Disengage, Quick Draw, and even Powerlifter or Catapult. All of the others are required for this build to perform well. If you want gameplay, skip to this timestamp where I go over the gameplay at the end of this video and more in depth about the build. But let's go over the final weapon, the War 45 SMG. First of all, let me say this gun is so much fun, but let's start with the attachments. And you can see my gun is only level 15. You can unlock all of the best attachments for it already at level 15, starting with this barrel extension. Grab the compact compensator, since again the other options are just inferior. Magazine, for some reason Overkill made it so the extended magazine unlocks at level 4, but for the other weapons it's 24. But it's obviously much better than the other options, so grab that. And for the stock, I like the TQ stock and the HQ stock. I think they're equal, but I use the TQ stock right now. Vertical grip, stomp grip outclasses the rest, but you can use the quick hold grip if you prefer it. And for the normal grip, I like BioFit. It's always the goat when it comes to grips. Lastly, sight. You know the drill. Pick what suits you. But I like the classic RDS, and you're not even gonna scope in most of the time, so this choice doesn't even matter really. And again, I'm gonna paste the part where I explain about the rest of the build, the revolver and everything else in this loadout except for the skills, so skip this if you've already watched it. For your secondary, I use the J&M Castigo 44 for every one of these builds, since it's a great secondary, so let's go over the attachments for it. Barrel, tack barrel. I don't use it because my game is glitched and I can't unlock it. Sight is again up to your preference, but I like the Slate RDS. Grip, BioFit grip, simply outclasses both other options. And finally, the basic compact compensator is just better than both other options. The rest of the loadout aside from the skills will remain the same for the next 2 builds too. So let's start with the deployable. Grab armor bags, they're still good even after the nerfs. For the overkill weapon, obviously the Het 5 Red Fox. Armor lining, I use heavy ballistic lining, but I know some people prefer the medium ballistic lining. Now for the throwables and tools. They're both up to preference. I would recommend grenades or flashbangs for your throwables, and anything goes for tools since they're all kit. And now for the skills. For the third time, start with more basic to unlock the rest of the tree, and grab recoil handling since this SMG's recoil can fuck up some of your kills, and obviously grab ammo funnel and replenish so you can chain your kills without reloading forever. Lastly, grab sprint loaded since it's always nice to have, especially in the rare cases you do have to reload with this gun, since it has a pretty bad ammo pickup rate. Now grab tank basic to unlock the tree, and grab extra plates, armor up and disengage. Then we grab sharpshooter basic so we can take cutting shots since our SMG is quite weak versus the elite SWAT units, so this is necessary for it to perform adequately. Take Escapist and Swift to be generally faster when playing. And now for the important tree, Gunslinger. Grab Gunslinger Ace to chain your edge with hip fire headshots, then from the hip to reduce recoil, and Quick Draw is always awesome to have for general utility. Finally, the Transporter tree. Grab Transporter basic to open up the tree, then proceed to deep pockets for armor bags, Powerlifter to carry 2 bags, and Catapult to throw them further. You can swap the following skills for other things you may prefer: Sprint loaded, disengage, escapist, swift, and catapult. The rest are what makes this build work. I'm gonna put the gameplay on screen now with a bit of explanation about each build, but skip to this timestamp for the War 45 SMG part. Okay, so for the SFA 12G automatic shotgun, it's pretty simple. Just hold your corners and try catching up close. The shotgun has pretty impressive range, especially with the range barrel, but the hipfire spread is a bit heavy, so try to rely on short range encounters and keep going for headshots to refresh edge. when reloading from time to time to reset edge and grit when there is no enemies around using combat reload. You'll also notice that you barely ever have to reload since the ammo pickup rate is pretty good as long as you play correctly, and you'll never run out. I'd recommend using this build on maps like Cook-Off and Early Ice where most combat is close countered. Next up, the FIK-22 TLR. Now the point of this build is just like with the Scar or the other Marksman rifle. You wanna aim down sights for 1.5 seconds to gain edge, and instead of one-tapping cops you wanna start spamming, since this gun barely has any recoil and shoots very fast. So you wanna ideally 2 to 3 headshot a cop, and it may sound inefficient, but the ammo pickup rate of this gun is freaking amazing, so it self-sustains. So you can spam away and not run out of ammo, and even if you do, the total ammo count is pretty high too. This gun still sucks though in my opinion, since on overkill with so many cop spawns, needing a few headshots per cop while getting sprayed down isn't that good. And this gun only works if you play from very far away, but even then it isn't a real option, since the larger scope is only at 2 times. I recommend this gun on no map, cause it sucks. But if you're gonna use it, your best bet is probably No Rest for the Wicked, Road Rage, Under the Surface, pretty much any of the medium ranged maps. And lastly, let's talk about the fun gun, the War 45 SMG. This is pretty simple, run and gun. Get edge and start running. When you see a cop, stop and quickly burst his head. Then continue sprinting like the mobile killing machine you are. It's really fun and surprisingly effective. Just try not to miss too many bullets since the ammo pickup rate is below average on this gun, due to it being an SMG. But yeah, this is pretty much it. I'd say that you can use this gun on pretty much any map, except for really long range maps like Road Rage and 99 boxes, but even there it can excel, with the stupid cop spawns. I enjoy using it on maps like the new map Syntax Error and Touch the Sky for example. But this is it for this video guys. Hope you guys like the new weapons and I hope I helped you utilize them to their max potential. Thanks for watching and feel free to leave a like and a sub. See you in the next one. Peace.